people used to look at Gipp and be like, man, Gipp dry. Wow. We was going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one time, and you know your partner, you know, we got that Scarface Brad. He went to Gipp. Man, them shoes, I don't know about you can hang with me today. I don't know if you can hang with me today. Those shoes too wide for me. And I'm just like, but what you don't understand is that when we first got into the industry, it was like around us, we was working at the dungeon, but you know, at that time, you know, really back in that time, you couldn't even get into no studio. You couldn't even go into the waiting area unless you had time booked. And at that time, that was boss town. So a lot of times we would be out in the parking lot all day while organized noise went in there and did the music. So with that being said, it taught me from the jump, like, hey man, you gotta put yourself in the position. You also gotta care about the position to make sure nobody destroys the opportunity for you. And one thing that we learned during those times, you know, we would go to dark and George Clinton was always there. So George Clinton would come back to the dungeon and he would see us and he would like, y'all a weird bunch of fellas, man. Y'all. And one thing he told me one day, he said, we was getting ready for a show. And I think I walked in front of him, he looked. He said, Gil, what that is you got on? I said, do what I'm about to go on stage. He said, man, how you start this if the people in the crowd got on the same thing you got?
Mm.
And from that, I said, I gotta make my own clothes. And I remember the first time I did it at a music conference in Nashville. And it was Arista and the premier record companies was Bad Boy and LaFace. And I remember it was all of the Dungeon family and with all the Bad Boy and Puffy them. And I just remember them coming in and, you know, Puff was on his that day. Man, he learned a little something about the country boy, man. He came in looking, hey, man, I need to hurry up. And I remember everybody just looking like, what that Gipp got on, man? What he? And I said, you might not understand my southern dialect because I talk a certain way, but you're going to remember what I look like when I leave. And George Clinton said, Gipp here, when you make music, your clothes supposed to look like the music. So when you always saw Gipp, I always tried to make my clothes look like the music.
Mm. You know, what's interesting is George Clinton. You know, you got to be weird if George Clinton called you weird. You know, like, because George had no problem standing out, like, you know, doing something that was totally unconventional. Weird in a good way, you know. He's always been that type of dude. Even to this day, you know, George Clinton is like that. What is it that you believe that people get wrong most about Southern artists besides the music? What's that biggest misconception?
That we slow, because we talk slow.
Mm.
No, we talk slow. We think fast.
Mm-hmm.
We let you think you're winning, but you're losing in the end. so having that, coming up during them times where people used to just come around and think people slow because where they from,
Yeah.
it gave us an advantage a lot of time.
You know what's the trip part is this. The people who act like that, they forget that they're from the South.
Yeah.
Their roots are right here in the South.
Mm-hmm.
The people who paved the way for them, those people who bought land early on, those people who were trailblazers, those who fought back, they were from here. They. It's almost like they believe they've been systematically programmed to believe the hype, just like people who are not us, who don't have our experience.
Right.
It's like they watching these shows on TV and they think that's what it is. 'Cause I remember I went to St. Louis once, and these girls were in our dressing, I mean not dressing room, but in our hotel room. A couple of girls, they were sitting on the bed, and They were fascinated by us from the South,
Just talking.
fascinated with the vernacular, just fascinated. And so I saw it, I peeped it, and I was like, he was like, what's it like in Texas? And I say, well, what we don't have is all of this madness that y'all have in y'all city, where people are always fighting and killing each other. If you have a problem with somebody, you have to go to the sheriff and ask for a shootout. You have to request a shootout.
Yeah.
For real? I said, yeah, like if you have a shootout, you got to request it from the sheriff. And your friends or somebody else, they cannot get into it. Your family members and stuff, they cannot try to jump in, because if they do, automatically that's a hanging. So people know the rules, so they don't try to help people fight. So we don't really have a bunch of fights and shootouts and stuff, because you have to take 10 paces and turn around and shoot at sundown.